Guy Ritchie has done it again, and this time, he brought two of Hollywood's heaviest hitters along for the ride. The official trailer for In the Grey dropped this week, and it arrived like a thunderclap. Sharp cuts, heavy artillery, morally complicated men doing extraordinarily dangerous things in places the rest of the world pretends do not exist. This is the film action fans have been waiting for, and if the trailer is any indication, the wait was worth every agonizing minute. The film centers on a covert team of elite operatives who inhabit the shadowy space between government authority and outright lawlessness, what the story calls the gray zone, where legal boundaries dissolve and survival becomes the only rulebook that matters. Their latest mission begins as a heist and ends as something far more catastrophic. When a ruthless despot quietly siphons off $1 billion fortune and disappears into the cracks of the international order, the team is deployed to take it back. What follows is a spiral of deception, shifting alliances, and all-out warfare that no one on the team anticipated walking into. Jake Gyllenhaal plays Bronco, a cocky, quick-thinking American operative whose confidence borders on recklessness. Henry Cavill steps into the role of Sid, a no-nonsense British counterpart who balances Bronco's swagger with cold, calculated precision. Together, the two form the kind of cinematic pairing that feels both inevitable and electric. Two immensely watchable performers, operating at the top of their game under one of the most kinetically gifted directors working today. Eiza Gonzalez rounds out the central trio as their handler, a key intelligence figure whose decisions will prove critical when the mission begins to unravel. Rosamund Pike, Fisher Stevens, Christopher Hivju, Emmett J. Scanlon, Jason Wong, Carlos Bardem, and Michael Vu also appear in supporting roles, lending the film an ensemble depth that promises more than standard action film window dressing. For Guy Ritchie, In the Grey represents yet another chapter in a remarkable streak of work that has kept him at the center of mainstream action cinema. The British director first united with Gyllenhaal on the 2023 war drama The Covenant, a collaboration that clearly left both men hungry for more. The following year, Ritchie delivered The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare, his World War II action thriller starring Cavill, to strong critical and audience reception. In 2025, he released Fountain of Youth, continuing his pattern of high-concept, character-driven action storytelling. That pace shows no sign of slowing. Wife and Dog is currently in post-production and slated for later this year, while Viva la Madness has already begun filming. On the television side, his crime drama Mobland was recommissioned for a second season following a successful first run. Prime Video recently released Young Sherlock, and the second season of The Gentleman has been completed and is now awaiting a release date from Netflix. The road to getting In the Grey in front of audiences was anything but smooth. The project was first announced in 2023, with production beginning that same year after the production secured an interim agreement that allowed cast members to work during the SAG-AFTRA strike, a significant logistical hurdle that underscored how committed all parties were to getting the film made. Principal photography took place across multiple international locations, including parts of Europe and the Middle East, giving the story the expansive geographic canvas its globe-spanning premise demands. An early 2026 release was originally planned, but Lionsgate, which had acquired the film, quietly pulled it from the schedule when post-production work remained unfinished. Black Bear, the film's producer and international sales company, subsequently took over US distribution rights through its newly launched distribution arm, with Lionsgate retaining digital and pay TV rights. The film was produced by John Friedberg, Dave Kaplan, Ritchie himself, and longtime collaborator Ivan Atkinson. In the Grey is now officially set to arrive in theaters on the 15th of May 2026, distributed by Black Bear. What makes the film particularly compelling beyond its cast and director is the timeliness of its premise. Espionage thrillers have dominated both the multiplex and the streaming landscape for years, but In the Grey appears to be reaching for something grittier and more morally textured than the genre's more polished entries. The concept of operators functioning in the grey zone, invisible to governments, unbound by conventional ethics, and ruthlessly effective taps into a very real anxiety about how power actually operates in the modern world. Ritchie has always been drawn to characters who exist at the edge of legitimacy, and here he seems to be pushing that fascination further than ever before. The production also marks a continuation of Ritchie's growing trust in Cavill as one of the defining action stars of his generation. Having already put Cavill through his paces in the chaos of wartime Europe with the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare, Ritchie appears convinced that the actor carries a rare combination of physical credibility and dramatic weight that suits his storytelling instincts perfectly. Gyllenhaal, meanwhile, has spent the better part of the last decade expanding his range in increasingly demanding roles, and his return to Ritchie's world suggests a creative partnership with genuine staying power. With a cast this loaded, a director this proven, and a premise this charged, In the Grey has every ingredient needed to be one of the most talked-about action films of its release year. Whether Ritchie delivers on that promise remains to be seen when the film opens in theaters on May 15, but if the trailer is the opening argument, the case is already compelling. Now the question is yours. Are you Team Bronco or Team Sid? Which pairing are you more excited about, Cavill and Ritchie reuniting, or Gyllenhaal stepping back into this world? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if this kind of deep dive movie coverage is what you come here for, hit that like button, subscribe so you never miss a breakdown, and let us know what film you want us to cover next.